Haji Muhammad Idris Jauhari yang kemudian dikembangkan oleh para pengembang Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan. Kini, Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan telah berhasil menempati jajaran pondok pesantren terbaik di Indonesia, dikenal banyak kalangan dan diakui masyarakat internasional, menjadi institusi yang representatif, maju, dan berkembang. Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan adalah lembaga yang independen dan netral, berdiri di atas dan untuk semua golongan, tidak berafiliasi kepada salah satu golongan atau partai politik apapun. Seluruh aset dan kekayaan Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan telah diwakafkan kepada umat Islam dan dikelola secara kolektif oleh sebuah badan wakaf yang disebut Majelis Kiai atau Dewan Riasah. Saat ini, Dewan Riasah beranggotakan 6 orang kiai. Kiai Haji Dr. Ahmad Fauzi Tijani MA, Ketua Dewan Riasah. Kiai Haji Dr. Ghazi Mubarak Idris MA, Wakil Dewan Riasah. Kiai Haji Zainullah Rais LC, Sekretaris Dewan Riasah. Kiai Haji Muhammad Khairi Husni SPDI, Bendahara Dewan Riasah. Kiai Haji Fauzi Rasul LC, Anggota Dewan Riasah. Kiai Haji Halimi Sufyan SPDI, Anggota Dewan Riasah. Ummah yang pernah tampil di atas panggung sejarah dunia. 2. Misi khusus: mempersiapkan kader-kader ulama dan pemimpin umat yang mutafaqih fiddin, baik sebagai pakar, ilmuwan, akademisi, maupun sebagai praktisi yang mau dan mampu untuk melaksanakan tugas dakwah ilal khair, amar ma'ruf, nahi mungkar, dan indzarul qaum. Terhitung lebih dari 8.000 santri dan santriwati di Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan yang berasal dari seluruh penjuru dunia, termasuk di dalamnya Arab Saudi, Kairo, Mesir, Malaysia, dan Thailand. Mereka hidup damai dengan lingkungan yang nyaman dan penuh persaudaraan, berlatih untuk hidup berdisiplin, termasuk juga disiplin 2 bahasa asing, Arab atau Inggris, dimanapun mereka berada. Tempat mengasah bakat, menempa diri, ladang amal, dan prestasi. Dengan moto utama, beriman sempurna, berilmu luas, dan beramal sejati. Kami selalu berobsesi untuk hidup berjasa, berkembang, dan mandiri di tengah-tengah masyarakat. Prestasi-prestasi yang telah diraih oleh santri Al-Amien Prenduan sangatlah banyak, baik di level lokal, regional, maupun internasional. Di tingkat internasional, juara 1 debat bahasa Arab antar MA atau SMA se-ASEAN di University Science Islamic of Malaysia, Aicims. Juara Hifdzul Hadis di Kedutaan Besar Arab Saudi. Kehadiran tokoh-tokoh terkemuka, baik dari kalangan ulama, umaro, dan khubaro, dari dalam dan luar negeri, ikut serta mengiringi proses kemajuan dan perkembangan Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan. Di antaranya, Duta Besar Arab Saudi untuk Indonesia, As-Sayyid Usama bin Muhammad bin Abdullah Asy-Syuaibi, Syekh Abdul Qadir Al-Jailani Asy-Syatiri, Syekh Muhammad Ismail Al-Makki, Presiden Republik Indonesia, Bapak Joko Widodo, Ketua MPR RI, Dr. Zulkifli Hasan, Ketua DPR RI Haji Ade Komarudin MH, dan Ketua Klinik Al-Amien Prenduan yang didirikan di lokasi baru, sesi dan cita-cita yang bergelora di dalam hati para pengasuh, guru-guru, dan santri-santri Pondok Pesantren Al-Amien Prenduan, baik dalam bidang pendidikan dan pembudayaan, dakwah, alumni dan kaderisasi, ataupun ekonomi dan sarana.
Sini biar gak panas. Ayo bangun dulu, bangun dulu. Berdiri dulu, berdiri.
كان معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان من أحد المعاهد البارزة والمتقدمة في إندونيسيا، وله تاريخ خاص في التحلي عن حيز التطبيق في مجال الدعوة والتربية في إندونيسيا عامة وفي جزيرة مادورا خاصة. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم في رحاب معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان سمن مادورا جاوا الشرقية. ويقع معهد الأمين الإسلامي في قرية برندوان دائرة براغان سومنب جزيرة مادورا بمحافظة جاوا الشرقية، والذي يبعد عن جسر سورا مادو ب130 كيلومترا. كان معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان أسسه الشيخ أحمد خطيب سنة 1877 على مصلى صغير معروف باسم جونكو. وفي العام 1930 قام الشيخ أحمد جوهري خطيب بتوسيع المعهد وبنائه للمرة الثانية على مساحة ضيقة، والذي يعرف فيما بعد بمعهد تيغال التابع لمعهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان. وبعد فترة من الزمان ويمر التاريخ بما يقع فيه، يبنى معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان رسميا، وذلك في التاريخ 10 من نوفمبر سنة 1952 للميلاد. فقام الشيخ محمد تيجاني جوهري والشيخ محمد إدريس جوهري بتوسعة المعهد وترقيته نحو الأمثل، وذلك في التاريخ 11 من يونيو سنة 1971 للميلاد. وكان معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان يقوم على أساس المصلحة للجميع، لا ينتمي إلى فئة أو حزب من الأحزاب الطائفية والسياسية. أي هيكل التنظيمي لمعهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان يتكون من مجلس الرئاسة ومجلس الأعوان ومنصوبي المعهد والأساتذة والأستاذات. ولمجلس الرئاسة أشخاص بارزون في السيطرة على نظام المعهد وقراراته، وهم كالحاج دكتور أحمد فوزي تيجان الماجستير رئيس المجلس، كالحاج الدكتور غازي مبارك الماجستير نائب رئيس المجلس، كالحاج زين الله رئيس سكرتير المجلس، كالحاج محمد خير حسني أمين الصندوق للمجلس، كالحاج فوزي رسول عضو للمجلس، كالحاج علي سفيان عضو للمجلس. التربية الإسلامية في معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان تطبق خلال 24 ساعة، وهي تمزج بين التقاليد القديمة والتقاليد الجديدة بما هي أصلح لنا، مع القيم الإسلامية والإندونيسية والمعهدية والجهادية. ولمعهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان وجهات، وهي تبنى على عبادة الله وحده وطلب مرضاته والقيام بمسؤولية الخلافة على الأرض. أما غايات المعهد له غاية عامة: إعداد الأفراد الخيرة في سبيل الوصول إلى مرتبة خير أمة أخرجت للناس. وله غاية خاصة: إعداد كوادر العلماء المنذرين لقومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم والمتفقين في دينهم. ولتطبيق هذه الوجهات والغايات رتب المعهد الخطوات الأساسية الأربع، وهي: في مجال التربية، وفي مجال الدعوة، وفي مجال إعداد الكوادر، وفي مجال الاقتصاد والموارد التنموية. يوجد بمعهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان صندوق مالورة طلاب وطالبات يتعلمون فيه، وهم يأتون من أنحاء الجمهورية ويحصلون على الجوائز الوطنية والعالمية، منها الجائزة على أحسن فريق المناظرة المنعقد في الجامعة الإسلامية الماليزية، وحفظ الحديث المنعقد في سفارة المملكة العربية السعودية في جاكرتا. الضيوف المرموقون الذين جاءوا إلى المعهد منهم وفي مقدمتهم رئيس جمهورية إندونيسيا السيد الحاج جوكو ويدودو، ورئيس مجلس النواب الوطني، ورئيس مجلس الشورى الوطني، ورئيس مجلس العلماء الأندونيسي، وسفير المملكة العربية السعودية في جاكرتا. كان لمعهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان المستشفى الإسلامي يبنى على مسافة كبيرة للخدمة الصحية للطلاب والأساتذة والأستاذات والتلميذات والمجتمع، وله موقع خاص استراتيجي.
صوتي واضح أستاذ؟ مسموع؟ مسموع أستاذ؟
صوت واضح، مسموع جدا.
مسموع جدا.
طيب، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أحييكم جميعا بتحية الإسلام، تحية مباركة من عند الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السيد الفاضل رئيس معهد الأمين الإسلامي كالحاج الدكتور أحمد فوزي تيجاني الماجستير، السيد الفاضل نائب رئيس معهد الأمين الإسلامي كالحاج الدكتور غازي مبارك إدريس الماجستير، صاحب الفضيلة رئيس جامعة الأمين الإسلامية كالحاج الدكتور مهتدي عبد المنعم الماجستير، صاحب الفضيلة الأستاذ عبد الغفور كمديري Residents of Indonesian Education Share to Care Volunteers، هيئة اللجنة، المؤتمر العالمي الأول، الباحثون، المتقدمون، الحاضرون، المستمعون، حفظكم الله، أسعدكم الله نهاركم. الحمد لله الذي أنعمنا رحمة ونصرا وفضلنا إلى سائر الورى، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، قبل كل شيء هيا بنا نشكر حمدا إلى الله الذي أنعمنا بنعمة الإيمان والإسلام والعافية حتى نستطيع أن نشارك هذا البرامج المبارك إن شاء الله، نسمى ب The First Annual International Conference on Islamic and Multidisciplinary Studies. Salatan wa salaman daimaini mutalazimain ala sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam khatamul anbiya wal mursalin alladhi yush'ilu ruhul jihad minadh dhulumat ila nur ضيوفنا الأعزاء والحاضرون الكرام، أنا كرئيسة الجلسة أريد أن أقرأ سلسلة البرامج في هذا النهار المبارك. البرنامج الأول الافتتاح، فخير ما نفتتح برامجنا في هذا النهار بقراءة أم الفرقان الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. البرنامج الثاني الكليمات التمهيدية، سيلقيها الفاضل الأستاذ أحمد الماجستير كنائب رئيس جامعة الأمين الإسلامية لشؤون الأكاديمية والتعاون، فلتفضل إياه مشكورا.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya waddin. Salatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'dah. Amma ba'du. Honorable Mr. Abdul Ghaffur, Speaker, and all participants of the first annual International Conference on Islamic Multidisciplinary Studies. Thank you Allah Almighty. May we always be in His protection. Salawat and salam may still be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Thank you very much, I say, to Mr. Abdul Ghaffur, as President of Indonesian Education Share to Care Volunteer, who have helped us to organize this activity. And I hope this collaboration will be continued in the future. Annual International Conference on Islamic Multidisciplinary Studies is one of IDIA's academic agenda that has been planned as one of the effort of IDIA participation contributing to the academic and scientific field for the development of scientific and the Izil Islam wal Muslimin. Thank to Allah, it can be released this year. May our activity be blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. And last, I would like to say thank you very much to committee for their effort to make this event be success. That is all I can say. Thank you very much for your attention and happy conference. And the last, I say you, hadanallahu wa iyyakum ajma'in wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wabarakatuh. Syukran li fadilatihi. Al-Kulaimat at-Tamhidiyah al-Thaniya sayulqiha al-Fadil Ustaduna Al-Ustad Abdul Ghaffur, President of Indonesian's Education Share to Care Volunteers. فلتفضل إياه مشكورا. الأستاذ
يا أستاذة أسوة.
كيف أستاذ؟
انطفأت اللمبة في الجامع ونرجوكم
لعل الكهرباء في هذا في جامعة مادورة الإسلامية الحكومية انطفأت. عليك بالاستمرار إلى المتكلمين في هذه الحصة. نعم.
نعم أستاذ. نعم. طيب. نخطو إلى البرنامج الأساسي. The sub-program is presentations and discussions. For the seasons, it will be led by the moderator, Miss Fida Ruhia. Is there Miss Fida?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, the time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
Okay, good day everyone, everywhere you are around the globe. Before we come to the main session,
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm sorry, who is not responsible for this meeting, could you just mute your microphone, please? All right, thank you. Okay, before we come to the main agenda together, we open our conference now by reciting Al-Basmalah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Firstly, I would like to say, I do feel honorable to be your moderator for today. And of course, I'm not alone here. I'm with a friend of mine, our sister, Uswatun Hasana. He's good in, he's master of Arabic, and she will come along with us during this conference. And firstly, I would like to say honorable to the Vice of Rector, Mr. Ahmadi, and respectable to the President of Indonesia Education Share to Care Volunteer, Mr. Abdul Ghafur, and then our distinguished participants, and our speaker from around the globe. Okay, before we come to the main session, as we know today, we have our specific topic. Can you read behind me here? It's about pesantren for millennial generation. It's just interesting topic for today. But before we come further to that, I would like you, maybe some of you, you can give me a brief explanation what is pesantren is. Anyone here? Why am I asking this? Because I'm afraid some of you, maybe our friend, our participant, or speakers from around the globe, they didn't know what's the context of pesantren. Because pesantren is adopted from Indonesian language, and I'm afraid some of them, they didn't understand what pesantren is. Maybe some of you can help me to explain what is pesantren is. You can open your camera and put your microphone on. Maybe some of you. Do I have to get someone to explain for me?
Nanti speaker di sini, istrinya jadi moderator kan lucu.
Hello. Can anyone help me to explain what is the word pesantren is? Because it's not a common word. It is Indonesian word. I want some of you can help me to explain what is pesantren is, the context of pesantren is. Can I choose someone here? Can I choose someone here?
Pesantren
right.
is a place of reproduction of ulama. Reproduction of ulama.
Oh, no. Okay. Can I ask somebody? Can I ask somebody else? What about Sister Faradis? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I would like you to explain to us what is pesantren is, because some of our friends from around the globe, they didn't understand what's the context of pesantren is.
Okay, I think pesantren is one place for students or people to learn about Islamic education, and also we stay at the pesantren. Maybe in another word we can say it's boarding school, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's all. Maybe
okay.
The definition.
Yeah. If I can give you, maybe some of you want to give
Okay,
An
may
additional.
I explain what the meaning of the pesantren?
Yeah.
And the pesantren, as I know, is one of formal education or Islamic education in Indonesia, with Kiai as central of formation and with the most of center of activity of students.
Wow, yeah, it's a good idea. Both of you did a great job. Thank you so much. So pesantren is the place for students to study about Islamic studies, and some of the boarding schools, the students stay 24/7 there to study all the things about Islamic studies. Okay, then next we have another word, millennial. Anyone here know what this millennial is? It's just like the word that you can hear every day and you can find it on the internet when you Google it. Anyone can help me? You can explain to me either in Arabic or in English. Both of the languages are acceptable.
Maybe I say again.
Yeah, of course.
Different. I will compare between the modern and the millennial. The modern with his character is cogito ergo sum, and the millennial is with his character is I click and I stay.
Yeah.
Saya upload, maka saya aktif. Kalau dari era modern dikenal dengan cogito ergo sum. Saya berpikir maka saya ada, maka era milenial dikenal dengan saya klik maka saya ada. It's according to Ferdik Budiman Hardiman at his book Hermeneutika Pemahaman.
Okay, if I can give you an additional information, millennial here is the generation that was born from 1980 to 2000, and their age is about 26 to 40, maybe some of us around this age, and the generation the previous generation before the millennial generation, we call it the boomers, while the generation that's come after the millennial, we call it Gen Z. Yeah. Okay. Now we have some rules here before we begin to the main agenda, the conference. Okay. Firstly, the speaker will present the material for about 15 minutes only. And then I will give some reminder to the speaker if they got run of time. Yeah. And then following that, we will have some questions and answer sessions for approximately 5 minutes. If you guys want to ask about anything, you can open up your camera and put your microphone on. Or if you don't want, you can just text on the chat box and I will keep an eye on it. And then center is from yesterday conference. That is okay to present now. I would like to call our presenter, Dr. Umar Buhori from IAIN Madura. The time is yours.
Thank you for the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, because the problem of my laptop, I asked the help from one of our committee to share my screen. Okay, I asked Ustadz Izzat to share my screen. Please, Ustadz Izzat. Aina antum Ustadz Izzat?
طيب مستعد يا سيدي.
Thank you. Actually, I would like to present my research paper using Arabic because I think there are many terminology which it is become obstacles for me to translate it into Arabic, so I make myself or I make my PPT using English to present my my research, my last research conducted in 2015 ago. Okay, go on my Ustad Izzat. Okay, my research background is I think I have conducted this research not in Pondok Pesantren. I have conducted the research in formal Islamic school, especially in one formal Islamic school in Indonesia that applied in that school what we say the integrated curriculum. This is also this formal Islamic school is under Depdiknas, Kementerian Pendidikan Nasional, and because of its status, so because of its status that this is become Islamic school, so the Arabic language become compulsory learning material in this school. So my research background is because the Arabic language is become a compulsory learning material in Islamic school that it is under Kementerian Pendidikan or Education Ministry in Indonesia. And I think every school is would like to improve the Al-Manhaj Al-Qawmi, Kurikulum Nasional, according to the level that be controlled by Ministry of Research and Technology and the Ministry of Religion. Sorry, this is Ministry of Education and Research and Technology, and also curriculum number 2, the curriculum model number 2 is institutional curriculum, in which refer to the specific content of the Islamic education institution. And secondly, that the application of lesson study model in Arabic language learning and its supporting fields of study at Islamic educational institution, I mean in the formal Islamic school or whether in Pondok Pesantren that are formal in nature, is divided into two types. Firstly, it must be preparation of implementing team, and thirdly, preparation of management team. The implementation team or the implementing team implemented it by following plan, do, see, or I mean the framework of lesson study, planning something, the implementation, and doing evaluation with the assistant of colleagues or senior teacher as supervisor, and also the management team carry out their duties in form of planning, making technical instruction, determining work schedules, and conducting pre-lesson discussion with other teachers. And ladies and
Pardon me,
gentlemen,
gently reminder, sir, you have run out of time.
Okay, at least the model of lesson study can be improving by open class when this collaboration team can be inspired with tenure on the expert in especially in Arabic lesson. Okay, I think enough here my presentation. Aku syukran kathiran li jami'il mustami'in. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much for your amazing presentation. I give you guys 5 minutes to pop up the question to the presenter.
I think this model is something new according Pondok Pesantren or especially in another formal Islamic school?
Is there anyone want to ask? Yeah. Hello, is there anyone want to ask?
Maybe in chat box.
I will try to find it. Nothing. Okay, if I can make some question by my own. As I know from your presentation, it's about how the Arabic language is embedded in the curriculum. I think it's just like it's something big and has a big work to do with that. Where the boarding school or school, they need to design a curriculum that use Arabic as instructional language. Is that what you mean? Arabic as instructional language. So
yeah, Arabic as one of institutional materials.
As institutional material.
Yeah.
For the implement,
yeah, because the implementation is in my research is in Islamic formal school, especially in Sanawiyah or in I mean in SMP in Indonesia, SMP or SMA. There is institutional materials related with Arabic language.
Yeah, because it's something new for them. Do you, during your research, do you find any obstacles in implementing the Arabic language as curriculum in the school?
I think it's a problem of policy from the head of the school.
The government.
Yeah, no, inside the school, especially the school committee or the headmaster or the principal that would like to use Arabic language as the institutional material in its curriculum. The obstacle here and also the commitment from the teacher, and not just the teacher of Arabic language, but also the teacher of supported materials. I mean, like if in Islamic formal school, there is fiqh, there is imla, there is whatever. There are many Islamic materials. It must be joined with Arabic language as the core of Islamic material, I think, inside a formal Islamic school.
So it's not about extracurricular studies, but it's the main subject in the school.
Because the status is Islamic formal school, not only formal school, but there are Islamic formal school, SMP and SMA Islam.
Okay. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's so beautiful.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry for my timer. I will welcome the next presenter. This is the next presenter is from Indonesia. He is a lecturer in IDIA Al-Amien. He was a Bachelor of Psychology from University of Muhammadiyah Malang, and he was also certified as Indonesian broad hypnotherapy. So, and then he did his Master of Human Research Development in Airlangga University. All right, then to shorten the time, please welcome Mr. Muhammad Maqbul Mawardi. The time is yours. Please give class.
Full inside the Zoom.
If it is possible, Dr. Rima going to present Ustadz Umar.
How disable participant screen? Sorry. How disable participant screen sharing here?
Excuse me, operator. I think.
Must disable participant screen sharing here. Can you hello host? Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
I'm here.
Our committee to, because here written host disabled participant screen sharing. I can share my PPT.
The operator, could you give him?
Please make Mr. Makbul as co-host. Yeah, please make the presenter as co-host, so he can share his screen.
Yeah, share screen. Here host disable written. Here written host disable participant screen sharing. Host disable participant screen sharing. So here.
For the host, please make the presenter as co-host. Okay. So he can make share his screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Can you see my?
Okay, we can see your screen.
It's clear.
Go on.
Before I present my article, I would like to say thank you to moderator for giving me a chance or opportunity to present my article. And then I hopefully you are all happy today, because now I will present about happiness. Article here is positive education program in Islamic boarding school.
Bahasa Inggris masalahnya.
Okay.
Masuk ke rumah besar. Itu nggak masuk.
We go to the next slide. First of all, I will give reason why I wrote this article. Firstly, as said by Seligman in his journal, he said, in the beginning, psychology had three main goals, namely, the first, curing the mental health, and the second, identifying and nurturing talent and potential, developing strength, and the third, helping people to live productively and meaningfully. As we know, based on some research studies about helping people to live productively and meaningfully, still there are only a small number that study it. However, so far psychological studies tend to study more about curing mental health, identifying and nurturing talent and potential, as well as developing strength. Because of that, I have high interest to study about helping people to live productively and meaningfully. And the second reason is many students face psychological problems in boarding school, such as homesickness, sick boarding school regulation, inadequate facilities, and pressure from parents to study at boarding school. On the problem I mentioned earlier, I collected from the recent journal article. This is a statement of interest, my research. And we go to the next slide. here, the background, I will explain about background this article here. As we know, student learning success is the most crucial factor in determining the success or failure or of educational institution. And then one of the determinant of success in learning in student well-being. Hence, student well-being has a significant influence on achieving student success in learning. As I found in some research, one of them, the research was conducted by Luyu and Safar. Here, the research showed that personal well-being as measured at the start of university studies positively predict student personal growth and academic achievement after 3 years of study. And then, here, how to do measure someone has experienced well-being? It can indicate by getting happiness and resilience. So, here we can see that well-being can impact to happiness. Therefore, if someone or a student experiencing a good level of well-being will develop positive psychological condition, and it can impact increasing student motivation and learning effectiveness. Conversely, students who experience low level of well-being have negative psychological disorder. As a result, they experience sadness that can impact to decreasing level of concentration. The cause of student unhappiness, it can be caused by several factors, such as violence, bullying at the school, and strict school regulation or inadequate facilities, and etc. Here we can see the data statistic from the National Commission for Child Protection, or KPAI atau KPAI, recorded that 87.6% of the 1,026 participants reported they were bullied both physically and verbally at school. More recent statistics, in 2018, the National Commission for Child Protection, KPAI, reported that out of the 161 cases, child abuse, it received up to May about 22.4% involved intimidation. Likewise, in Pesantren or Islamic boarding school, since 2017 to 2019, KPI reported that cases of child abuse indicated high number in Islamic boarding school. It is proof the violence in Pesantren is still high number. The other problem faced by students at Islamic boarding school, here we can see homesickness, 80.41% students face homesickness, and even 4.87% experience in high level homesickness. And further problem here is pressure from parents to study at boarding school, around 75% and 60.77% students disobey the rule that caused by pressure from parents to study at boarding school. As the problem I have explained before, to overcome this issue, I suggest positive, or I recommended positive education program to apply in Islamic boarding school. As many of schools in the world have already started to apply this program, like in Australia and China. Before I explain this program, I will explain at a glance about what is positive education and what is over the positive education program. And we go to the next slide. Here I will explain what is positive education. Here, the positive education program is derived from positive psychology, in which study about the science of well-being and optimal functioning. Therefore, we can conclude the concern of positive education is to develop students' strength and well-being, thereby getting or making them to flourish and enabling them to achieve academic goals. However, the aim of positive education is to cultivate positive feeling, positive behavior, or positive cognition in school setting. Okay, we go to the next slide. Here, overcome the development of positive education around the world. It can be shown here in this map. The orange pattern is the countries where positive education has taken root as of 2018. And we know this map here in Indonesia is not country that implemented positive education program. Therefore, that's my reason why I recommend to implement positive education program in Indonesia. As to resolve psychological problem who faced by students, particularly students in Islamic boarding school. But here I have found in some research that study about positive education in Indonesia. One of them, such as the research conducted by the Senin Room and AlamienTV et al., they reported that already elderly in boarding school, they become passionate in living and worshiping. They are thankful because at that age, they are still given the health, strength, and opportunity to undergo pesantren activities, like study and worship, and the other activities such as cleaning the area of boarding school together with other elderly. Therefore, they form positive emotion. At the same time, the elderly are happy to be involved in all activities in the pesantren, in which form a full engagement of the elderly. And the other word, the elderly got optimism, self-existency, and akhirah-oriented life, the will form meaning of life. But this research still took the indicator of indicator high-level well-being by Seligman. On the other research, they conducted by Hidayat et al. Reported the confirmatory factor analysis approach verified the questionnaire of PERMA was satisfactory for Indonesia student context.
Pardon me. Pardon me, a gentle reminder. We have run out of time.
Okay, thank you. This was conclude the PERMA of Indonesia University students have a 5-factor structure, so that we can conclude that 5 indicators of high-level well-being by Seligman can implement it in Indonesia context. Okay, in the next slide, because the time is limited, here how to apply positive education. Positive education is based on indicator high-level well-being. Here there is 5 indicators. The first, positive emotion. The second, engagement. The third, relationship. Fourth, meaning. And 5, accomplishment. And how to implement? How to implement is by like it, teach it, and divide it into kind, explicit, and implicit, and then embed it. Okay. Thank you. I will give this slide to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I give 5 minutes for the questions. If you can't asking directly, you can write in the chat box. Is there any question about regarding to the positive education, the implementation of positive education in the boarding school?
Maybe positive education is doesn't apply in boarding school context, in Islamic boarding school context or pesantren, because that I have conducted this research by library research, not field research. And for further research, I will to do conducted by field research by experiment method. Because the new one program, if I will apply in pesantren.
Okay, because there is no one asking about the questions, maybe I should continue to the next speaker. The next speaker, I will welcome Dr. Rima Al-Khani. Yeah.
Good morning, all.
Yeah. She is a founder and owner of Fursan Al-Thaqafah and Mobali website 2007. And he also the owner of Jawalak Al-Tikania web. Very welcome for today. The time is yours. Maybe Mr. Muhammad Makbul, stop. You can stop this.
Please share my YouTube, please. Okay, I can't open my lab. Please open my YouTube, please.
Stop here. Okay.
Please open, doctor, open my URL, YouTube, because my lab is not good.
The operator, could you do it?
Yes, this URL, yes, this link, please. You can share it, please.
The operator, could you do me a favor?
Sorry?
I'm sorry, Miss. I'm talking to the operator of this Zoom.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I think if Dr. Rima position it as co-host, so she can open immediately the YouTube, this YouTube
unfortunately,
sharing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she cannot open by herself, so maybe the operator will help us. What about Mr. Izzat Amini? Are you there? Can you help us? Could you give me a favor to play the video on YouTube? Hello.
Sorry.
Izzat Amini? Could you do me a favor to play the YouTube video? Because I'm not the operator one here. I'm on in the house. I'm only the house.
Few minutes, please. I open my lab. Maybe I can share my link. Can you share my link, please? That is. Please give me the sharing.
Do you want to share it by yourself?
I will share the video.
Oh.
I will share the video. Yeah.
Brother Muhammad will help you with that. Thank you so much.
Yes, that is.
I think it's clear.
You can see. You can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see
Okay,
your
clear,
screen.
clear. Okay.
Okay.
But it's not the YouTube one.
The screen is very clear.
Yeah, can you share the YouTube? Can you share the YouTube, please? Because it's showing this on the screen. It's not the YouTube.
Berarti kalau jam 9:30 itu masih jam 4, nah.
Mr. Muhammad Maqbul.
Yeah.
Can you share the YouTube? Can you play the YouTube?
Okay. I'll do.
It is appear here. It's not the YouTube, but it's PDF or.
Kalau mama baca ayat kursi, mama dilindungin sama dari jin-jin.
Mama suka baca.
Kayaknya buku.
Hello. Can everyone see the YouTube here? Because I can't see the YouTube video on the screen. I think you share the wrong.
Sorry. I can't share.
Wait a second. Is this your video, Dr. Rima Al-Hani?
Yes, that is.
Yeah. Can you start from the beginning of the video, Mr. Muhammad?
Can I start the video now?
Yeah.
Waalaikumsalam.
Unfortunately, Mr. Muhammad cannot play the sound. It is working with the
retreat. Is there sound?
Yeah. Can you play it from the first? Okay.
Welcome in your study. The name of this research, the concept of contemporary i'tikaf, reclusion and seclusion, Al-Ghazali as a model. I hope make subscribe this channel and like if you like this subject. Many people are under the impression that isolation is completely negative, will writers and positive people who are productive have an opportunity to self-reflect and return with the same energy without retreat or mistake. Therefore, we have to understand seclusion from the perspective of the peers, not from our sample perspective, for the constant noise and choice of life may not give a chance to look back or evaluate ourselves properly. As we say, perhaps aestheticism and different color and pattern, and perhaps our respect for our living requirement make it beneficial to our worldly life as well as the hereafter. This research aims to facilitate the concept of i'tikaf or partial seclusion, so that it didn't cut us off from daily life. The text of the topic. 1. What is i'tikaf? What mean? I'tikaf and seclusion. 2. May understanding. 3rd, summary of the study. Lexically, the word carries the meaning to devote oneself to, dedicate oneself to be or become engaged in, occupied with, busy with. It also means to reside, as God Almighty said, a people devoted to idol. As a resident there, it also means to adhere to, stick to, and keep approaching something, someone. Now, epistemologically and religiously, all i'tikaf, to adhere to, stick to something for better or worse, as God Almighty said. That is the translate. We said in Arabic the ayah Quran. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يعكفون على أصنام لهم ما هذه التماثيل التي أنتم لها عاكفون ولا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد. And according to Sharia, the Hanafi said it is staying in mosque in which the congregation prayer is held with fasting and with the intention of reclusion. But Malki said it's when Muslim who has come of age stay a mosque that's available to all people, in addition to fasting, including abstaining from intercourse and its prelude for any entire day or more with the intention of worship. And Shafi'i said it's a person stay in the mosque with intention, and the Hanbali said is the staying in mosque to obey God, especially done by an adult son Muslim, pure of what's required, watching, and it's last in our all this for for meaning the i'tikaf. I'tikaf stay in mosque for prayer inclusion in 1 month, 2 months, 1 years. But i'tikaf is not tall, not many time. It's short, maybe short. We say now it was for the purpose of self-reflection and correction, especially upon the self-origins he felt when many people approached him, which made him fear for himself from fitna. That is fitna. Is like himself, he fear for that, and from that we conclude in role, however fair a fitna for himself shall isolated himself until the find a way out. That like in ayah in Quran, we translate it, but I prefer said in Arabic. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واتقوا فتنة لا تصيبن الذين ظلموا منكم خاصة واعلموا أن الله شديد العقاب. That means we fear the God is angry for us. That's a big matter. Now, and based upon that is mathematical equation. If partial seclusion is a protection from the evil of temptation, then confirming falsehood with wisdom and foresight in that exact protection. And wisdom starts with keeping ourselves and the one around you from evil, as much as God has destined in for you. Now, Dr. Mustafa Sibai and Adnan Zarzour have an opinion on this. There is not a doubt that Al-Ghazali, one of the genius and great mind of Islam and one of the great leaders of Islam, thought and people of reform and renewal, who have great merit in evening the religion, spirit, and our keeping Islam, the thought and preaching Islam true and moral, and resisting the mind and vision that was sweeping the Islam community and mentality, and whatever is said about him, his sincerity is too great to be questioned. Now, i'tikaf is understood it two concepts of partial seclusion. Partial of complete isolation without human interaction is something that humans cannot bear, and even the Prophet didn't do on the exception as well, even if it occurred. Islam has permitted i'tikaf, which is a kind of isolation with some interaction with other people as a mean to go about one's daily life without trouble, which is essential. The proof of Islam al-Ghazali lived in 64 years. He stripped himself of himself and of his state, searching for critique and happiness, cut off from the place of the world. He moved from Baghdad to Mecca to the Levant, here he found himself devoid of creating knowledge. يعني that is what to be in better ka. That is all I wanted to say. Well, I thank you all for listening. There is yet plenty to cover in which you can reach me anytime to get further in details. That is the email, that is the website, and welcome all.
Bachelor in Islamic Broadcasting. He was also his master degree of Islamic Broadcasting. And congratulations, he just did his doctoral degree at Islamic University Malang. Give big applause for him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now let's Dr. Izan Amini. The time is yours. طيب تفضل أستاذ لأنكم ستلقي البعض باللغة. طيب
نشكركم شكرا كثيرا. طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
صلاة الله تتسلى وسلامه يتسلى على المطفئ الوام الذي ضله الغمم وهو بدء وختام للرسل وكان بين الأمم هو رزام سيد الأنم شافع يوم الزحام وهو الذي يروي الهيام وطبيب للمستهم. طيب نقدم شكرا كثيرا للمتقدمين أو المحاضرين. فيا أيها الحاضرون أعزكم الله نهاركم. طيب في هذه البقعة الملآنة سأباهر لكم بيانا عن المعهد وطريقة إعداد المتخرجين المتفوقين. أصبح المعهد كالمؤسسة التعليمية قد تخرج فيه الطلاب المتفوقة من حيث كانوا يجاهدون في ميدان التربية والتعليم. وعلى إثر ذلك انطلاقا من الواقع التاريخي كان المعهد في هذا الحين أسهم في استرجاع العصر الذهبي للإسلام عبر النشاطات التربوية التي كانت أساسها الحب والتدبر. والمراد بالتدبر هنا أن يستولي طلاب المعهد على العلوم الإسلامية اعتمادا على القرآن الكريم والسنة النبوية. ففي هذا الصدد فقد سجل المعاهد في إندونيسيا قفزات هائلة أملا أن يكرس المعهد جهوده مستقبلا إلى الأمام وبخاصة تطوير العلوم والمعارف للنهوض بمستوى الشعب والوطن مع رغم التطور وتقدم العلوم والتقنية. علاوة على ذلك فلا أبالغ أن أقول إن أساس تطوير وترقية ميادين التربية والعلوم هو الإيمان والتقوى. وقبل كل شيء أريد أن أعرف ما نسميه بأركان المعهد. تتكون أركان المعهد على ما يلي. نعرف في إندونيسيا أن المدرس أن المؤسس في المعهد يسمى بكياي. قال الأستاذ مستوه إن أيها المستمعون رحمكم الله ففي هذا الصدد أكد أبو الدنتا أن الهجرة العلمية التي قام بها كياي في الزمن الماضي يتناسب مع الهجرة التي قام بها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مع أصحابه حتى تعتبر الهجرة التي قام بها كياي كالهجرة التي قام بها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وكانت الهجرة أصبحت نقطة الانطلاق ومثابة المبدأ للعهد الإسلامي. إذن كان هجرة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من مكة إلى المدينة تعتبر أو أصبحت نقطة الانطلاق ومثابة المبدأ للعهد الإسلامي. ثانيا صور أبو نتا أن هجرة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سورة من سور صبر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مع أصحابه في مواجهة الأذى من أعدائهم. ثم ثالثا رأى أبو الدنتا أن تلك الهجرة من علامة الإيمان السامي من قبل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه. ثم العنصر الثاني وهو ما نسميه بسنتري وهو طالب العلم. سنتري بمعنى المريد اسم الفاعل ممكن من أراد يريد. والمريد هنا بمعنى من كان له إرادة قوية وعزيمة متينة لطلب علم. ثم ثالثا المواد الدراسية. تتكون المواد الدراسية في المعهد على ثلاثة أمور هامة. أولا العلوم الإسلامية، ثانيا العلوم الكونية، ثم ثالثا المهارات اللغوية، ثم الأخير المسجد والمسكن الذي يسكن فيه الطلبة. طيب، وأما الغرض من النشاطات التربوية رجاء أن يتفقد ينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. الآية. ثم الغرض الذي يليه يرجى أن يكونوا متخرجو المعهد قادة مسلمين ذوي الكفاءة العالية والتأهل الكافي في المستقبل، علما بأن العلماء المستجيبين لمتطلبات العصر وتحدياته أخذوا يندرون بقبضهم من المولى جل شأنه وكانوا بين أظهر المجتمع ورثة للأنبياء. ولا يتحقق إعداد الكوادر المؤهلة إلا إذا تفورت التسهيلات والتجهيزات الأخرى كما ذكرت آنفا.
Hello, Mr. Izzat Amini, are you there?
Yes. Hadir. Halo.
Unmute, I think.
Hello?
Halo.
Mr. Izzat Amini, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Astamir.
Maybe you can. Maybe you can continue your presentation.
Okay, thank you. ولا يتحقق إعداد الكوادر المؤهلة إلا إذا تفورت التسهيلات والتجهيزات الأخرى كما ذكرت آنفا أن المسجد والمبنى الآخر في المعهد يكون أمرا مهما مثل المسجد مثل المدرسة والهجرات. لماذا؟ لأن هذا المكان أصبح مركزا للعبادة في جهة وكمركز للنشاطات التربوية. وأؤكد أن هذا المكان من الاحتياجات الملحة من أجل استمرارية مسيرة الخير وتواصل أداء رسالته المقدسة على أكمل وجه. ثم الأمر الذي يهضى بالاهتمام والعناية من قبل المعهد والأساتذة وجميع الأطراف المهنية في المعهد يعني بطريقة بناء الموارد البشرية المؤهلة. كما قيل ليس المعهد ببنائه ولكن المعهد بأبنائه. Pesantren dikenal bukan dari bangunan fasilitas fisik semata, tapi pesantren diharapkan ya dikenal karena output yang dihasilkan. ثم الذي يلي من المبادئ الأساسية التي لابد أن يهتم بها المدرسون وكياي في pesantren يعني أولا التعارف، أن يعرف المدرسون أن يعرف كياي عن قوة تلاميذهم وكفاءة تلاميذهم. ثانيا تنظيم شخصية التلاميذ. ثالثا تنظيم وتركية كفاءة التلاميذ. ثم رابعا الإرشاد والتوجيه إلى ما هو خير له. وأما الطريقة المستخدمة أولا معرفة قوة الطالب، ثانيا معرفة وتقرير كفاءة الطالب، ثالثا تقرير المواد التي يريد تدريسها. ومن الكفاءة التي لابد أن يستولي عليها الطلبة في المعهد تتكون على 7 أمور هامة. أولا الكفاءة الشخصية، ثانيا يكون مخلصا مستقيما إما في الأفكار والأقوال والأفعال. وأما من ناحية الكفاءة العلمية لابد أن يستولي الطلبة على العلوم الإسلامية والعلوم الكونية والمهارات اللغوية. ثم الذي يليه رأى الشيخ محمد إدريس جوهري كأحد مؤسسي معهد الأمين الإسلامي برندوان سمنب مادورا أن الطلبة في المعهد لابد أن يعامل غيرهم معاملة جيدة معاملة حسنة. ومن بعد المعاملة التي قدمها الشيخ محمد إدريس جوهري هي المعاملة مع الله والرسول، المعاملة مع النفس مع الناس ومع البيئة. وأما ثم الذي يلي يعني الكفاءة القيادية، أن يستوي من ناحية الإطار ومن ناحية التطبيق. ثم الكفاءة التربوية يعني أن يستولي وأن يقدر الطالب
Yeah, gently reminder you have run out of time.
Okay. أيستولي على تقنية وطرق التعلم والتعليم وعلى الإدارة التربوية والتعليمية وسيكولوجية التعلم والتعليم وفهم الجانب الداخلي والجانب الخارجي. ثم الأخير الكفاءة الاقتصادية، أي يستولي الطالب على العلوم الاقتصادية غرضا لأي شيء، يعني تعزيزا للمجتمع ورفعا لرفاهيته. طيب، فمن الكلام الختامي نقدم لكم أطيب مشاعرنا وأفضل احترامنا، وهكذا ما أريد إلقاءه إليكم جميعا. شكرا كثيرا، ثم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Syukran jazilan ala taqdim Dr. Izzat Amini. Ayuhal hadirun wal mustami'un, hunaka ta'liqat awil as'ilah. Mungkin Ustaz Izzat an tu'rid PPT fi awali limawdu'ikum hatta al-mustami'un.
Iya, kayak Bu Hafidah.
Hunaka ta'liqat awil as'ilah minal hadirin, hunaka ta'liqat. هناك الأسئلة. أن الدكتور إزاد أميني يشرح عن المعهد وعن كفاءة الطلبة في المعهد الإسلامي ليكونوا قادة مسلمين ذوي الكفاءة العالية والتأهل الكافي المتخرجين من المعهد. هل هناك تعليقات أو الأسئلة من الحاضرين؟ أستاذ مسلمين، هل لكم الأسئلة؟ طيب. نعم أستاذ.
Do you want to raise some question, Mr. Muslimin Al-Palimbangi?
Thank you, Miss Moderator. شكرا. بالنظر إلى ما بين الأستاذ أن ما حدث في معهد برندوان، يظهر أن قول المجتمع بأن الدراسة أو التربية في المعهد غاليا، وكيف للمستضعفين ليتعلم في المعهد، وكيف الطريقة لمعهد العلمين في رد هذا القول.
طيب، خلاص أنا سؤال. طيب، لدراسة المستضعفين لتحليل مشاكلهم ربما هكذا الأسئلة. طيب دكتور إزات، هل أنتم معنا؟ دكتور إزات العفو، هل أنتم معنا؟ أستاذ إزات. العفو أستاذ إزات. Miss Vida.
Unfortunately, maybe Dr. Izzat Amini is somewhere because we run out of time. We have only short time. Before that, I will welcome the warmest welcome to our speaker, international speaker, Dr. Haruna Abu Bakar Haruna. Dr. Haruna Abu Bakar Haruna. He is Master of Art and Philosophy Doctor of Education in Arabic Literature, and he is an experienced global keynote speaker and researcher in Indonesia, Philippines, Oman, Egypt, India, and around the world. And he is also the winner of International Academy Award by Education of Scholar in India, and he is also the lecturer in International University in Pakistan. Or to shorten the time, now allow me to welcome Dr. Haruna Abu Bakar Haruna.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
أشكر شكر جزيل إلى أستاذ الدكتور عبد الوافي والجهة المنظمة لهذا المؤتمر، وكذلك الأخ رئيس حصة التربوية في إندونيسيا وهو أستاذ الدكتور عبد الغفور، وكذلك نشكر المنظمون لهذا المؤتمر. السلام عليكم. طيب، نريد أن نتحدث عن التربية والتعليم العربي في نيجيريا أو في شمال نيجيريا. دعني أشارك my slide with you. Afwan, can you add me as co-host so that I can share my slide? Sorry. Hello.
So far clear, doctors. Sepertinya putus jaringan.
Can you share the slide?
Yeah. Okay. أوكي. العنوان الذي سوف أتحدث عنه كما ذكرت سابقا هو الأدب العربي وأثره على مجتمع شمال نيجيريا. الأدب العربي أو التعليم العربي في نيجيريا بداية، قارة إفريقيا من الأولى قارة التي حظيت بدخول الإسلام بعد جزيرة العربية عن طريق الصحابي الجليل عقبة بن نافع. لذا دائما إذا كنا نريد أن نتحدث عن التربية أو التعليم العربي أو الأدب العربي لازم نذكر قارة إفريقيا وبالخصوص نيجيريا. طيب، منذ دخول الإسلام أو انتشار العلوم العربية والإسلامية في شمال نيجيريا، وأجاد علماء هذه البلاد استخدام اللغة العربية للإنتاج الأدبي، أخذوا يتأثرون ببيئتهم ويؤثرون فيها. أقصد بذلك منذ دخول الإسلام إلى هذه القارة عن طريق التجار والقوافل الذين يفيدون من جزيرة العربية، وبعضهم من تركيا وبعضهم من المغرب العربي وبعضهم من مالي، يعني تمبكتو. طيب، أخذوا يتأثرون في بيئتهم المحلية يعني بيئة النيجيرية، والعلماء في هذه البيئة هم الأدباء وهم قادة الفكر وهم الذين يقومون بأمور الدولة، كما يقومون بتدريس الدين واللغة والأدب. والإسلام هو غايتهم في استعمال هذه اللغة. نقصد بذلك اللغة العربية أصبحت اللغة الرسمية في مجتمع نيجيريا، وتحول المجتمع يتحدث اللغة العربية ويستخدم الحروف العربية. لماذا؟ لأن الإسلام هو غايتهم في استعمال هذه اللغة يعني لغة عربية. فبعدما تعلموها لغة وأدبا، مال بعض العلماء إلى أدب العربي فدرسوا ما وصلهم من كتب الأدب. أيوة، بعد ما تعلموا العلماء في نيجيريا اللغة العربية، مالوا إلى دراسة الأدب فدرسوا ما وصلهم من كتب الأدب دراسة وافية يتذوقونه ويحاولون محاكاته. أيوة، العلماء حاولوا تقليد بعض أشعار العربية وبعض النظم والنثر وما إلى ذلك. لذا كان جل أعمالهم الأدبية والعربية موجها نحو إصلاح مجتمعهم. فقلد المجتمع العادات والتقاليد العربية بما فيه الثقافة واللغة والمظهر، يعني الثقافة العربية واللغة العربية والمظهر، حتى المظهر مثل الزي، اللبس الذي يلبسونه العرب الذين يأتون إلى قارة إفريقيا إلى نيجيريا للتجارة. بدأوا أفراد هذا المجتمع يقلدونه في طريقة اللبس والمحي وكل ذلك وما إلى ذلك، إذ يمتصون العلماء سلوكياتهم وأفكارهم من كتب الدين والأدب. بداية نبدأ بالتعليم العربي في شمال نيجيريا. كانت وظيفة الأدب في المجتمع الإنساني إصلاح وإفادة المجتمع وتوجيهه حتى يعيش الإنسان في حياة طبيعية. وكان الأدب العربي جيد ورفيع القيم، فلا يقتصر على المتعة واللذة بحلاوة في الكلام أو برونق في الصور والتخيلات، بل كما ذكرنا هو إصلاح وتغيير المجتمع إلى صورة أحسن، بل ينور العقول في سبيل تربية إنسان أفضل ومجتمع راق. يؤكد ذلك تأثير الأدب العربي على المجتمعات الشمالية، يعني شمال نيجيريا، منذ دخول الإسلام عن طريق السلم عن طريق التجار والقوافل والدعاة من السودان والمغرب وتركيا، ودخل الإسلام في مملكة البورنو وولايات هوسا الرئيسة. فحيثما وضع الإسلام قدميه يدخل معه التعليم، لأن الإسلام دائما يشجع التعليم ويجعله جزءا من الدين، ويعطي العلماء منزلة كبيرة في شمال نيجيريا. يعني في مجتمع هوسا نحترمون العلماء بكثرة، ويعطي العلماء منزلة كبيرة في شمال نيجيريا، فيلتف حولهم عدد من الناس ليتعلم ويتثقف. على هذا النحو ابتدأت الفصول الدراسية، أي بدأت الفصول الدراسية والمجالس العلمية تزدهر في هذا المجتمع، ويتعلم البنون والبنات فيها القراءة والكتابة، يستطيعون بذلك قراءة القرآن وكتابته. من خلال ذلك تعلموا قراءة وكتابة لغاتهم المحلية، أيوة، من خلال تعليم العربية وقراءة كتب الأدب وقراءة كتب الفقه والدراسات الإسلامية، بدأ المجتمع يستطيع أن يكتب لغة المحلية مثل اللغة الإندونيسية بلغة عربية، لكن بالحروف العربية ليست بالحروف اللاتينية. طيب، هذه هي الثورة في كل المناطق التي دخل فيها الإسلام في نيجيريا، فساهمت هذه المراكز في نشر الثقافة العربية وآدابها في نيجيريا. طيب، ننتقل إلى الأدب العربي في شمال نيجيريا. كيف كان الأدب؟ كيف نشأ الأدب؟ كيف أصبح الأدب موجود في شمال نيجيريا، يعني أدب العربي؟ يرجع نشوء الأدب العربي في نيجيريا إلى القرن التاسع عشر، حيث قويت نفوذ الإسلام، فكثرت المدارس والمجالس، وأصبحت بعض المراكز التجارية مركزا أيضا للتعليم والأدب العربي في مجتمع نيجيريا. أيضا وبخاصة مصر مراكز تجارية الرئيسية في العالم الإسلامي، وكونت صلة ثقافية وثيقة بمراكز التعليم الرئيسية في العالم الإسلامي، وبخاصة مصر والحجاز وطرابلس وتمبكتو. يعني أصبح المراكز التجارية الموجودة في نيجيريا أصبحت عندها صلة وعلاقة وطيدة بين المراكز التعليم اللغة في طرابلس ليبيا وتمبكتو مالي ومصر والحجاز، يعني المملكة العربية السعودية. فقد شهد الأدب العربي في القرن التاسع عشر ازدهارا واسعا، بحيث يصعب التفرق بين الأدباء والعلماء في مجتمع نيجيريا. ولا نستطيع أن نفرق بين العلماء والأدباء. أيوة، في تلك الفترة فالعلماء هم الأدباء، وهم قادة الفكر، وهم الذين يقومون بأمور الدولة كما يقومون بتدريس الدين واللغة والأدب. فتعليم اللغة ليس غاية في ذاته، وإنما هو وسيلة لفهم الدين الإسلامي. هذا كل شيء. تأكف العلماء على تعلم العربية وتعلموها لغة وأدبا، وحتى مال بعض العلماء إلى الأدب العربي، ودرسوا ما وصلهم من كتب الأدب دراسة وافية، يتذوقونه ويحاولون محاكاة الأدب العربي. فقد وصل إليهم كتب الأدب قليلة جدا مثل الصائل الجاهلية، مقامات الهاري، قصيدة بحر الصعاد، وبعد أشعار حسان بن الثابت بردة المديح للبوثي. كما ذكرنا تأثير العربية والعربي على مجتمع شمال نيجيريا. كما ذكرنا تأثر الأدب والدين واللغة. بعض اللغات المحلية استعاروا بعض الكلمات المستخدمة في اللغة العربية، فأصبحت هي نفس الكلمات واللغة التي تستخدم في اللغة الهوسة. أمثال ماذا؟ مثلا الجوف. الجوف يعني interior، يعني المكان الذي يلصق في اللبس. في اللبس هناك مكان تجعل فيه الفلوس أو ما إلى ذلك، أو البطاقات أو ما إلى ذلك، وهذا المكان اسمه بالعربية الجوف، يعني بالإنجليزية interior. بالهوسة نفس الكلمة، نستخدم هذه الكلمة في الهوسة. ومثل البثل التي نطبخ بها، نطبخ الأكل على الطعام بها، onion باللغة الإنجليزية نسميها onion، وباللغة الهوسة نفس الكلمة. وكذلك الصداق. الصداق يعني دوري. هذا الصداق هو الذي المهر اللي يقدم عند الزواج، بالهوسة نسميه كذلك. والتروفل يعني البلاء، إذا يقول وقع الإنسان في البلاء، وهذا نسميه باللغة الهوسة أيضا. هذه من التأثيرات المهمة والكلمات المستخدمة في لغة الهوسة، وهي لغة عربية أصلا. ومثلا المصيبة والمهاجر، المهاجر immigrant نسميه هذا باللغة المحلية كذلك. القطيفة برضو mattress، وبرضو الأيام الأسبوع والأعداد نسميها في اللغة المحلية كما كانت ثابتة في اللغة العربية. مثلا السبت، يوم السبت، يوم الجمعة، يوم الأحد، يوم الاثنين، يوم الثلاثاء، يوم الأربعاء، كلها هنا موجودة. وكذلك الأعداد من 20 إلى فوق كلها، وهكذا. مثلا 20، 30، 50 وما إلى ذلك. وكذلك في الكتابات، مثلا الكتابات الرسائل والكتابات العلمية نستخدم اللغة الحروف أو الحروف العربية في كتاباتنا المحلية. مثلا نسمي هذا كتابة عجمي. عجمي هذا إذا قال الإنسان الأعجمي. نعم.
نعم الوقت إلا دقيقتين. شكرا.
أوكي سوف نصاري إن شاء الله. نتحدث عن الشعر بصورة سريعة عربية. كذلك في الشعر مثلا كلمة الأدب حولت إلى تعني الثقافة الرفيعة. فخير مثال عندما يرسي الشاعر فقيدا نلاحظ أنه يخفف البلوى عن أسرة المرحوم، ويذكر الناس وتذكير الناس بالموت وقرب القيامة، وهكذا من القيم الجيدة والرفيعة. ووجوب الصبر عند البلاء وتعداد مناقب الميت. نتحول إلى الكاتمة لظروف الوقت إن شاء الله. وفي الكتاب نقول بأن الأولية اللغة العربية وانتشار ثقافتها وآدابها في نيجيريا بدأ بدخول الإسلام إلى مملكة كانم بورنو ولاية هوسة الرئيسة، وانتشرت اللغة العربية وآدابها والعلوم الإسلامية بنشوء المراكز الثقافية والدينية. كذلك حاول هذا المجتمع على دراسة الأدب وتوثيقه ومحاكاته. فكانت وظيفة الأدب في مجتمع شمال نيجيريا أصبحت إلى إصلاح وإفادة ذلك المجتمع وتوجيهه حتى يعيش الإنسان فيه حياة طبيعية. فطورت كلمة الأدب أما كانت عليه في الجاهلية، فأصبحت تعني التعليم والثقافة الرفيعة. ونكتفي بهذا القدر، ونشكر الأخوة والجهة المنظمة لهذا المؤتمر جزيل الشكر على إتاحة هذه الفرصة لتقديم ما لدي من المعلومات. ونشكركم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم
السلام ورحمة الله.
شكرا جزيلا للتقديم دكتور هارون. التقديم جيد والموضوع جيد. طيب هل هناك في نفس الفصل في المستوى الماجستير هناك رجل من شمال نيجيريا مع
نعم.
نتعلم عن الأدب العربي ومعارفهم عن الأدب ممتازة متفوقة، فأنا أتساءل على نفسي متى البنون أو البنات في نيجيريا تعرفت على الأدب العربي، بينما الأدب العربي على حسب الإندونيسيين أنا وأصحابي المواد طبعا صعبة جدا، لكن حسب صاحبي من شمال نيجيريا معارفهم متفوقة وأعلى من المحاضر أعتقد هكذا.
ما شاء
ممكن
الله.
أن تبين لي متى تعرفت عن الأدب العربي وممكن عن العربية خصوصا في أي سنة؟ طبعا
طيب
عندكم اللغة المحلية طبعا، لكن ممكن متى تعرفت على اللغة العربية؟ هل
طيب
منذ ولادتهم؟ شكرا دكتور.
طيب بارك الله فيكم على هذا السؤال الوجيه. طيب بداية التعليم العربي، أو عندما كان الأدب أو اللغة العربية أو ازدهرت وانتشرت في نيجيريا، هو عندما دخل الإسلام، وذلك في كمسينات تحديدا، عندما جاء الصحابي عقبة بن نافع. وبعد ذلك السلع التجارية هي السر الوحيد الذي جعل العربية أصبحت قوية في شمال نيجيريا. عندما جاء التجار من المغرب ومن السودان ومن مالي ومن الجزيرة العربية بالخصوص الحجاز يعني السعودية، يأتون للتجارة إلى نيجيريا. عندما جاءوا رسمية في نيجيريا وهي لغة الثقافة، أيوة، لذا كانت العربية قوية جدا جدا، يعني هذا قبل دخول المستعمرون البريطانيون. أيوة، لذلك أصبحت اللغة قوية، وكل أفراد المجتمع ليس لديه التعليم النظامي هذا إلا تعليم اللغة العربية. أيوة، ليس لدينا لغة إلا لغة عربية. أصبح المجتمع البنون والبنات قبل أي كل شيء يتعلم القراءة والكتابة وقراءة القرآن وكذلك. أيوة، لذا كانت اللغة العربية والأدب العربي قوي جدا في نيجيريا. هذا هو السر الوحيد. يعرفون عن عفوا، هل أنتم معنا؟
نعم، شكرا على الإجابة. طيب.
اوكي، على وجه باختصار كثير، هذا هو بالتحديد السر الذي جعل البنون والبنات يعرفون عن كتب الدين والأدب. كل من ترعرع وأصبح وبلغ سن ال6 سنوات يبدأ بهذه الدراسات كلها قبل، حتى الآن، قبل دخوله إلى مدرسة النظامية أو مدرسة تعليم الإنجليزية ومواد العلوم وما إلى أو تقنيات أو كل شيء. لازم تتعلم اللغة العربية والدين والحديث والفقه وما إلى ذلك. هذا هو السر الوحيد جعل كل أفراد نيجيريا أغلبيتهم هذا هو الأساس، هذا هو الأساس حتى الآن، وما زال الحال على هذا الشكل. والسلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا دكتور.
وعليكم السلام. Thanks a lot, brother.
طيب، نخطو إلى المتكلم. شكرا جزيلا على التقديم، على الإجابة الجيدة الجديدة طبعا على حسب معرفتي. ونخطو إلى المتكلم بعده الدكتور مسلمين من وينرادن إنتان لامبون. دكتور، طيب، الوقت إياه مشكورا.
Excuse me, I need to interrupt. Yeah, I need to interrupt. Actually, we have other speaker here, and this speaker has a tight time and he is so busy. And I'm sorry to say for Dr. Yeah, I'm sorry to say. And now I would like to welcome Dr. Michael Baron from Australia.
Okay, yes, right.
Yeah, because he has some classes to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Michael Baron from Australia. He was a Bachelor of Art from University of Melbourne, and he also was graduate certificate in industrial education and training from MIT University. And he also Master of Education Management from Edicon University, and he is a lecturer now of MBA and MI students in some leading Australian university. We are welcome you, Dr.
Thank you so much.
Michael Baron. The time is yours.
These changes impact many different areas, including Islamic education, because I think in the light of COVID, we really had to turn over a new leaf, and we really had to embrace the new technology. Not because we're also fond of the new technologies, but because it's a necessity, it's a need. So just a brief overview of what we've been going through to give you a broader perspective of the scenario that we faced here in Australia. In the morning, we were going to work. For those of us who work at universities, going to university, and we're on the train, and it's a day like any other. By the time we reach university, we get informed that at some point soon, maybe the classes will be moved online. And by the time I complete my lecture, I discover that from next day onwards, all of the classes are moved online ad hoc. So this is what happened. And of course, it was a state of shock for everyone. And in this situation, we had to very quickly understand how to survive in the new world. We have students. Not all students are doing technology courses. Not all students are comfortable with the new technology. Not all staff members are comfortable with the technology. So how do we really transform important? The principles being translating face-to-face processes into e-learning without compromising integrity of the service delivery. So trying to provide students with the same kind of experience as they were receiving in a face-to-face environment. Secondly, accessibility, of course, making it easy to deliver, easy to learn, and overall user-friendly, because it's a new environment for everyone. And third one, of course, making sure that the courses don't crash and that the technical support is available. And this is why we realized the importance of protocols, the importance of consistent approach across all faculties. So there are faculties that are looking after IT. There are faculties that are looking after religious studies. There are faculties that are looking after agriculture. Really important for us to be consistent, because unless we have this consistent approach, we're not going to be able to manage. And I think it has been a problem for many organizations. How do you deliver the courses when many staff members are not familiar with the technologies, even the most conventional ones? And faculty of education, I hate to say, faculties of arts, faculties that are dealing with other humanities, they probably struggled most, of course, because staff overall is arguably least computer literate, and so are the students. So with the protocols, despite initial reservations, despite initial concerns that things may not work out well, miraculously things did work out. So that was pretty smooth change after all. So this is how we translated our traditional teaching delivery to the new mode, to the brave new world. Within 1 to 2 weeks, everything delivered online, assessments online. The staff members were able to adjust to the new environment, so technologies were user-friendly enough. And one lesson that we learned is that there is a old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. So necessity was really driving us forward. Necessity to transform, because without this transformation, what else would we do? The entire country is in the lockdown. Students cannot come to class. Staff members, lecturers, not able to make it to campus. So because of this necessity, we suddenly turned out to be far more productive, far more entrepreneurial as far as delivery is concerned. So what have we learned that maybe hopefully is useful for others to know as well? One, agile approach, working together. I think it's important for different communities, for different faculties, for different stakeholder organizations to work together. If we don't, it's obviously going to be very difficult to achieve any results. Secondly, design processes which are consistent and easy and for everyone to understand. And thirdly, of course, not to hesitate based on the testing to make adjustments and based on individual requirements of the faculties. For instance, faculties that were looking after religious studies certainly had different requirements than faculties that were looking after education. And needless to say, engineering faculty is a very different cup of tea. And in case of engineering faculty, it's possible to probably... Now to the challenges. Of course, there were some problems. Of course, some students struggled. This is where we try to provide individual support. Some lecturers required even more support, because imagine somebody who is, for example, specializing in the area of religious studies or in the area of maybe delivering music classes, and the person is being asked to move the classes online, and the person has not been using Zoom, for instance, at all, has not been used to managing their recordings, editing their recordings. Even such fairly trivial things were foreign to them. That was quite challenging. And the best way we could think of to address it was to offer one-on-one individual support. And of course, some other processes were taking place with many of the, you can say, more opportunistic and sometimes younger and more ambitious educators trying to seize the opportunity to establish themselves in academia, saying, look, now as well as professional knowledge, you need to have knowledge of education technologies. We have it, give us jobs. We can replace the staff which is not so friendly with the technologies. I'm putting it gently. Of course, probably they were thinking beyond this. They were thinking, our day has come. Let's take over the university. So in future, and hopefully this time, future changes will not be triggered by hoping to reduce the risks, because unless we're triggered by protocol development, and of course, even more technical support, which we could not organize fully on such a short notice, in future, hopefully we will. So this is what I wanted to share today. And I really think, and it's more like a closing remark. I really think that COVID has been pretty bad, of course. Everybody suffered around the globe. We're praying for those, who struggled most and praying for their recovery, praying for their lives to get back. But COVID also provided us with an opportunity. to make education international, to embrace the new technologies faster. Technologies that would otherwise take years to embrace, we embrace fast, increasing the reach of our courses, making education more accessible. All of this has been achieved. Maybe not out of our desire to be so revolutionary and transform, but because out of need. But in the end of the day, the result is there. We are now far more dynamic and far more prepared to deliver courses online than ever before. So this is what I wanted to share with all of you today. And if there are any questions, I'm very happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your amazing presentation. And maybe from the audience, is there any question? Or you want to give some reflections? Actually, your topic is really familiar to me. I do really experience that stuff here. Actually, I also live in Melbourne. I'm a student here in Monash University, and I experienced all the things that you give to me, that you have explained before, and I can imagine how the protocol is really made this. It's so process and it's long process, you know, it's so perfect. And I do really appreciate the all universities here with all of the facilities, and it's opened our eyes that we have to be know well, and that we have to be followed, that we have to know well how sophisticated of the technology today. And I have a question. You have told before that the solution is one by one or individual service, but what about I have a friend of mine. He is a chemist student, and he cannot come to the campus because of lockdown. There are some restrictions, so he cannot continue the research. So, what do you think about that?
Okay, first of all, good to know there are other Melbournians here, so you know you can really feel the pain that people in Melbourne had to go through. So basically, with time, I believe all research can be moved online, including applied sciences such as chemistry. You may not be able to carry out certain chemical experiments, of course, online, but as far as data sharing is concerned, as far as knowledge management is concerned, I believe a lot can be done. But it takes, you are right about one thing, it takes time. The problem is that, as you know very well, in Melbourne, it had to be done overnight. And because, you know, I have two hats. One is university lecturer, the second one consultant who is developing e-learning systems. As I'm working at university, I got approached by people and asked to do something fast because Monday we're going to work and Tuesday we're supposed to be in lockdown. And the courses are supposed to continue. And Monash University was fairly well prepared because it already had an online unit, which was probably overworked as a result of the COVID response. But some universities have not even had an online unit. And that was a case with a couple of clients of mine. They were basically totally lost and confused. So with time, everything can be delivered online. Regarding doing research, it's a bit more complicated, of course, because I can imagine with applied science, there are many dimensions, and some, of course, you don't want people to do chemical experiments at home and wait for them, you know, to do something wrong, and then, you know, there'll be a big explosion, everybody, including the neighbors and, you know, family members will fly in the air. But I think a lot can be done. A lot can be done, and now we have the time. We don't have to wait for the next pandemic to keep improving, you know. Better be proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah, that a friend of mine, they give up. Then they ask for the extension for that. And they even they studied the next year. And he started this year. And last year, the lockdown is up, is lifting up. And we have the whole year with no online anymore. Is there anyone want to ask something or give some reflection?
No one, I think. Thanks a lot, my brother, Michael Bern.
The next speaker is Dr. Muhammad Yasin. Are you there? Oh, I think
yeah.
Next speaker
yes, I'm there. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Hello, brother.
Alhamdulillah. How are you, sir?
Fine. Oke, lanjut Mbak Moderator, Dr. Madi Yasin.
I will welcome Dr. Muhammad Yasin. He is assistant professor at National University in Pakistan. He was trained in many universities, both national and international, and he is actively worked as researcher and the founder of and CAO and also editor of Al-Farid International Peace Academy, Pakistan. If a big applause of him. And he was also the winner of international and national awards such as Indian Organization Education Night, some Outstanding Researcher Award, and Luminary Excellent in Education and Research, and so many of them I can mention in one by one. All right, to shorten the time, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Muhammad Yasin to present your material. The time is yours.
Thank you. Let me to share my presentation. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. First of all, I'm thankful to the administration of AICIMS and especially Dr. Haruna Abubakar, who invited me to this conference. And the topic, no longer are we limited to the resources in our immediate surroundings. We can now consult experts from all over the world with just a few clicks of a button. And especially as we know, that after the COVID-19 pandemic, the whole universe become a global, and I may say that this is the one of the blessings of the COVID-19, that it make the whole universe a global, we can say that a universe. Now this is especially true for the fields like education, where online resources and platforms are increasingly becoming the norms. In this article, we will be taking a look at how Islamic education is being transformed in the digital era. What is Islamic education? The digital era has transformed the way we learn and access information, first of all. And in the past, students of the Islamic education had to rely on books and teachers to learn about their faith. Now, with the internet, they can find a wealth of Islamic educational resources at their fingertips. What is more, the internet has also allowed for more personalized and customized learning experiences. Students can now choose what topics they want to focus on and find teachers who specialize in those areas, not in their own institutions, but in the whole of the world. There is also a greater range of Islamic educational materials available online, from books and articles to video lectures and podcasts. This increased accessibility and flexibility of Islamic education is a major benefit for students who can now learn at their own pace and tailor their studies to their specific interest. It is also an important development for the preservation and dissemination of Islamic knowledge, as more people have access to it than ever before. And what type of education development is going on? In recent years, there has been a growing interest in the use of digital technology for Islamic education. This has been driven by a number of factors, which are including the increasing availability of affordable technology, the rise of the Islamic State, and the growing number of Muslims living in Western countries. They want that the children should have the Islamic knowledge, that is the first-hand knowledge. And what advantages can we get if we use digital technology in Islamic education? There are a number of advantages to using digital technology for Islamic education. First, it can provide a more engaging and interactive learning experience for students. Second, it can allow teachers to reach a larger number of students with their lectures and lessons, which is not possible in the orthodox style of teaching in classrooms. Because in classroom, we can engage maximum of 40 or 30 or 45 students at a time. Third, it can help to create more globalized and connected Muslim community at the same time. And finally, it can provide a way to reach out to young Muslims who are not currently involved in traditional religious institutions. And at the same time, of course, we will have to face the challenges when we are transforming towards the digital era, which are dead challenges. First, there is a risk that students will only be exposed to one narrow view of Islam. As we know that there are a number of people who had just, we can say, present only one side or one picture of Islam, and a lot of literature is available on internet, and students are not able to discriminate among them, so they can attract only that side. Second, there is a danger that online courses and lectures could be used by extremists to radicalize young Muslims. Yes, this is another fact, that if the youngsters are caught up by the extremists, they can use them or utilize their, we can say, their capacities on a wrong side. And third, there is a concern that the use of digital technology could lead to further fragmentation of the Muslim community. And what are the teaching methods in Islamic studies in modern era? It is undisputable that the internet has brought about a revolution in the way we access information and communicate with each other. The implication of this for education are far-reaching and potentially very exciting. For Muslims around the world, Islamic education is undergoing transforming as it embraces the digital era. And why Islamic education be transferred in digital? There are a number of reasons why Islamic education is well placed to take advantage of the opportunities offered by technology. Firstly, Islam has always emphasized the importance of acquiring knowledge and understanding our religion so that we can live according to its teaching. This emphasis on learning means that there is a strong appetite within the Muslim community for good quality of Islamic education resources. Secondly, many Muslims are already comfortable using technology in their everyday life. This means that they are likely to be open to using digital resources for learning purpose too. Finally, there is a growing recognition that traditional methods of teaching Islamic studies may not be sufficiently engaging for young people who have grown up in a digital world. This has led to a search for more innovative and effective ways of teaching the Islamic learning or Islamic studies subject. One area where Islamic education is benefiting from the use of technology is in the provision of online courses. These courses offer a flexible and convenient way for the students to learn because students can get knowledge or education according to their own free time. And to conclude it, we can say that educational technology in Islamic studies can be proven to be innovative and effective among students and teachers. More importantly, from a perspective of Islamic education, using PowerPoint and other technology is conditionally accepted as long as the tool serves as a good means to help the students get access to real knowledge and foster human intellect, as all knowledge from gods and encompass God from Islamic view. However, to use digital education is an innovative and effective teaching method, one must always bear in mind that it highly depends on its proper use and never forget that the main objective in the process of teaching is to foster students' ability to self-learning and innovative thinking through various means or method of education. So, no doubt, this is the era of digital. And we have to change ourselves according to the need of the era. And for this purpose, we, the teachers, should have to play an important role. We will have to make our lectures attractive by using the modern techniques, and the universities and the Higher Education Commission should also make such a policy that every teacher, especially the Islamic studies teacher, should use the modern techniques. Yes, please, if there is any question, yes, please.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your amazing presentation. Is anyone here wants to ask? Hello? Is there anyone here want to ask?
Enough, I think.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Muhammad Yassin, and have a good day.
Thank you, brother, for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. I will call for the next presenter. I think it is the last presenter we have today. I will call Dr. Muslimin from Lampung, Indonesia. He is the lecturer in Islamic University, Raden Intan Lampung. Thank you so much for your patience.
Okay.
You want to share the screen?
Okay. I prepared the screen. Okay. Oke, baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is voice is clear?
Yeah.
Okay. How to share the screen? Okay.
Saya
Okay.
kontak saya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah.
Cuma buat nas sedikit.
Surah موجودة؟ surah واضح؟ الصوت واضح؟
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah? Okay, baik. Baik. Honorable Board of Idea Islamic Institute Dirasat Islamiyah Al-Amien Prenduan, and President of Indonesian Education Safe to Care Volunteer, Mr. Abdul Ghaffur, and Miss Moderator, and all of the speaker. Alhamdulillah, for this afternoon, I would like to explain about my article. This article is part of my dissertation at Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati, discuss about religion and social transformation of Chawisan tradition in Organ Ilir, South Sumatra, Indonesia. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This article is depart from Amin Abdullah view, which described that in his book, Study Agama, Normative and Histories, that every religion has historical empirical experience. According to him, religion has undergone a process to inheriting value by its inherent from generation to generation through learning process. The process of inheriting religious value in the next stage become a tradition and become a culture feature that distinguishes one region from another, so that it's become means of social transformation for its community. We know the transformation of Islamic education. In Java, we know about Pondok Pesantren. At West Sumatra, we know about Surau. And now at South Sumatra, there is a tradition for transformation Islamic education with Chawisan tradition. Okay. Muslims in Indonesia have a very firm pattern in studying, practicing, and preserving of teaching of the religion. The diversity of form of thought and action about products need to agree with value in the form of formation of religious education method, such as the Chawisan tradition, which is mutually agreed upon by the community as an informal institution to receive religious education when they are adult, and the existence of various religious and community organization as a means for the community to actualize themselves in a group of organizations that they feel comfortable being in and the institution. So, religious figure and his educational institution in Indonesia both the formal or informal and non-formal education. Such informal, we know it's about the PAUD, TK, we know about the Chawisan tradition. Okay, now what the meaning of Chawisan? Yeah, Chawisan is since 19 until now. Yeah, the word Chawisan comes from the speech language or local language used by the people of Organ Ilir. The origin of the word is Chawis plus sepit an. Yeah. Chawis mean is serving or serving food. Chawis is serving food. Yeah. When this term is used to refer the religious leaders, it means that the kiai or cleric is presenting or serving and teaching religious knowledge to his student in house terrace. The feast of for Chawisan held in the feast or terrace of kiai house or resident house or under resident panggung house. This is the example of a house of at South Sumatra, rumah panggung, and the people get Chawisan, mixed Chawis in this place. After Chawisan, they eat together in his house, prepare with the owner. This is why is the Chawisan is presented at home, not at mosque or at school. Okay. The Chawisan tradition in history, Johnny faced many challenges. In the Dutch colonial, to be education solution and work constitution place. The people considered his power to attack the colonial. And also in this era, in colonial era, there is a conflict between Kiai Tua and Kiai Muda. Because at the time, young ulama is coming back from the Mecca or another country, they bring a renewal of Islamic thinking. This is what happened at colonial era. And then next, during the old era Orde Lama, Chawisan tradition was suspected of being a mean of consolidation of the power of Muslim against the Indonesian Communist Party or PKI. Markas li muqawamati PKI, which at the time was friendly with the government. في رسالة يبين أن موقف هذه Chawisan وأنها that Chawisan is only talking about religion, not talking about politics. It's what's the problem with Chawisan at the time. Okay, the next at the new era order, the Chawisan to be stagnant problems because due to the shift in life orientation of people. The people orientation only about looking for the formal education, not focused to religion studies. Therefore, the Chawisan at the time only about the zikir or tahlilan or reading the Barzanji book. And the next time at the Reformation era, when the young ulama, when the entering the social and religious of life, the Organ community experience a revival. This was marked by the revival of Chawisan tradition along with the return of young ulama to their country, to their area in several villages in Organ regions. And the rise of Chawisan tradition was also motivated by the increasing awareness of adults to study religion as their profession to live the world life in accordance with the guidance of religious teaching after previously they were of the age the compulsory education or school age didn't receive religious education. That's the history of tradition Chawisan. And Chawisan is, of course, there is a figure, a religious figure, start and Kiai. And the member of Chawisan is adult man and woman. For adult man, Chawisan is practiced at night and for woman in the morning. And take place at garang or hosteran or the teras rumah. Therefore, as I explained before, the construction or the architecture of house at South Sumatra is it makes this Chawisan is available to make at home. Next, for tradition Chawisan, there's we must know about the community character that the people of South Sumatra as Madura character. It's so hard and critical, but so permissive about a new thing. Therefore, there is part of there is type or kind of Chawisan in Organ area. Okay. Next, in my research finding and result that I found that according to the sociological fact, through the Chawisan tradition, religious leader or religious elite can shape the type or characteristic of Islam moderate, of Islam or moderate Islam, and the character of society. When I said before that the character of Organ people is people as too hard and critical, but now they with the Chawisan, they can change their character to be softly and more polite. The second, according to social political change and technology advance, have an effect on concern about the current of borderless community in the community, especially related to the authority of Kiai. But the existence of religious leader or Kiai or Ustad in the middle of community, a central role is being a place to comply for the community, amid their confusion and failing in responding quickly. Various religious information talk in the internet. إذن موقف العلماء في قريتهم يكون مرجعا لجميع المجتمع ببعض المشكلات من المعلومات الموجودة عن الدين في الإنترنت. Okay, the next, I found that type of Kiai or ulama in the area of Ogan Ilir regions, there is four type of ulama there. First, leader of Islamic boarding school and lecturer or active leader. The second, leader of Islamic boarding school. The third is lecturer of Kiai or active day. It's just dakwah or only pencerama, I said. And the fourth is Kiai Cawisan or Kiai Kampung. This Kiai Kampung, he stay with the people in his 24 hours, and he is to be yakun marja'an lil mujtama. And fourth, I found the result that the type of santri in Ogan Ilir, there is santri of Islamic boarding school and santri garang or santri cawisan. And I would like one thing, according to the explanation about Mr. Izzat, according to real fact in Ogan Ilir or in other place, that for the Pondok Pesantren, we hope they prefer the graduate or they graduate to be excellent people, to make the graduate is ready to back to his region or to back to his city, because the people really need the information about religion. We know that not all graduate of Pondok Pesantren or santri mutaharrijin min al-jami'ah, not all laysa kull minhum man ya'mal fi al-jami'ah aw fil hukumah kal mudarris aw kal muallim al-hukumi. Lidhalik nahtaj minhum man musta'idun للموقوف أو ليرجع إلى المجتمع يكون علماء في قريتهم أو في دائرتهم. لذلك, and then we need to santri treasure how they contribution to the people in this area. This is what I can explain to you about my article about how the religious elite in the perspective functional. This is they are very functional in the community. Thank you, Miss moderator. Back to you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
There are any questions? Nothing? هل هناك الأسئلة أو التعليقات من المحاضرين؟
Enough, I think. Thank you, Dr. Muslimin, for sharing.
Okay, thank you.
Will we jump up to the last presenters? Dr. Ruswatun Hasana.
Okay.
Taufikur Rahman, PhD.
Saya Dr. Taufik.
Semoga buka warna putih, pas kebetulan dapetnya putih. Buka warna putih.
إلى المتكلم الباحث Taufik PhD, Bapak bagian.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. First of all, I would like to thank Allah ini dia ya berada nama itu tarik guna bakar ya. Ketika ada di إلا سأحاول أن
Mana pamit atau versi guys?
Udah. Pastikan kalian yang ada.
هل ظهر لك موضوع بحثي في هذه المساء الفارغ حول البدعة العلمية في السياسة ودورها في بعض منفعة الجريمة بعد جائحة
lewat aja.
فالفكرة الأساسية هي الفكرة
keluar ke dalam bawah tadi jajanan di bawah tadi buru-buruan
tadi على أساس أهل السنة والجماعة بالعقيدة
buru-buru
وتنبني على المذهب وتنبني كذلك على السوق الإمام الغزالي
Jauh. Kalau jalan-jalan juga
التصوف
iya, repot namanya banyak lah. Bukan akan jauh deh, masih nganter, masih nganter lagi gitu loh. Ya kalau adanya punya mobil enak nih. Iya. Nggak punya mobil nih. Belum lagi jadwalnya susah seperti itu. Jadi kita ikuti jadwal dia, kita nggak bisa gitu kan. Kalau saya kita kalau saya nggak ada saudara
في إشارة عصا
kayak aku sama mereka
تدل على الدين والصحة تدل على
jadi kalau aku ayo
اسمه
jadi saudaranya sampai juga ada ya
على العصا تدل على الدولة والسبعة تدل على الدين. فالغرض من تأسيس الجمعية هي أن الدين والدولة أن الوحدة في مفهوم الدين والدولة. الدين والدولة توأمان كما قال الإمام الغزالي الذين أصبر السلطة حارسون وما لا أصبر مهزوم وما لا حارس للقائد. ولو تلو الكلام فهذه هي من شكل الجمعية وهذه رمز جمعيتنا. هناك تكون الجمع الأول النجم الأربعة النجوم الأربعة والنجوم الأربعة تدل على المذاهب تدل على الأولياء الإسلاميين الذين yang belum Islam di Jawa.
Seminggu terus masih tutup.
Nahdlatul Ulama lahu aqidah wasiyasah. Fikrah aqidah al-wasatiyah wa hiya fikrah al-sunnah wal jamaah. فكما عرف الإمام شيخنا محمد حسن المشعري أن أهل جاوة اتبعوا أي جاوة هذه النسنترة اتبعوا على عقيدة الإمام الأشعري. ثم عرف أن أهل السنة والجماعة اسم للطريقة العربية المسلوكة في الدين سلكها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أو غيره ممن هو عالم الدين كالصحابة. واستدل بقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين من بعدي. فالعلاقة بين العقيدة والسياسة أن تنصيب الإمام هو من العقيدة كما أن منهج الإمام الأشعري فطاعة الإمام واجب عند أهل السنة والجماعة. وكما عرفنا كذلك في فكر السياسة لنهضة العلماء وهي الفكرة مأخوذة من المذاهب الأربعة ولا سيما المذهب في جاوة حيث تمسكت أن السياسة الشرعية هي السياسة التي كل مصلحة نصلحها من الدليل أو من النص القرآن والسنة. المهم هو المصلحة. فكما قد ومن أمثال فقه السياسة عند المذاهب الأربعة في مجلس السياسة كما قرر الجمعية أن إندونيسيا أن ولاية إندونيسيا المستعمرة الهولندية في ذلك الوقت هي دار الإسلام. فهذا من مأخذ مذهب الإمام الشافعي. فالتصوف كما هو معروف أن العلماء التصوف واتبع كتابا على مذهب الإمام الغزالي أن الدين والدولة توأمان. الوسطية في هذا الوقت هناك فقه peradaban. Fikih peradaban ya الندوة العالمية في 200 مكان في إندونيسيا في خلال هذا اليوم. ولا أطيل الكلام لأن الآن وصلت في المطار والعفو منكم على الأخطاء والنقائص لأن لجان هذا المؤتمر لم يخبرني من قبل إلا في الأمس يعني. فأريد أن أؤخر إلى يوم البكرة أو بعد يوم لكن المهم التقديم. فالعفو منكم على هذه الأخطاء والنقائص. جزاكم الله خير. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم بالتوفيق والنجاح واللهم في الأمر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Miss Mida, please.
Yeah. Is there some question that the audience wants to ask?
No, I think Miss Taufik left the Zoom because arrived at.
Oh, all right. I think we have arrived from the last presentation. Before we close the conference, let me read all the summarize from the presenter. The first is from Dr. Umar Buhari. From his research about the Arabic language as part of the main subject in the curriculum, can be found that it found some difficulties to get the legible formation from the headmaster of the school, since it's formal and government school. And the second presenter is Muhammad Makbul Mawardi. He is present about positive education. Positive education is still questioning whether it is applicable or not in Islamic boarding school in Indonesia. And then, however, there are some drawbacks by applying positive education. It's about the factor that's not included the faith or God belief in the curriculum, in which the basic of Islamic boarding school is about believing in God. And then the third is from Dr. Rima. Dr. Rima said seclusion and itikaf is totally different part. The most different thing is can be found in the range of time. The seclusion is a month or even a year, while the itikaf is only the goals. And then the next is from the Dr. Baron. Dr. Baron said that a long process of designing the protocol is the key of the successful of transferring from the face-to-face classes to the online classes. And then next is from Dr. Muhammad Yasin. Dr. Muhammad Yasin said that the digital Islamic teaching are benefit for the development of Islamic religion. However, there are some challenges that we need to be aware in applying the digital or online learning. One of them is the student only exposed to one narrow view of Islam, and the other is the course material can be used by the extremist radical, the young Muslim. And then the next is from Dr. Muslimin. Dr. Muslimin explaining about the traditional and the Chawisan, and in which there are some religious editor in a cultural perspective. It's about the historic entries that are including the religious sector, cultural sector, educational sector that include formal and informal education. Meanwhile, for the traditional Chawisan was covered some eras from the colonial era to the Reformation era, in which Kiai is then as the religious figure. And the next is will be delivered by my sister Uswatun Hasanah from the Dr. Haruna Abu Bakar and Dr. Muhammad Taufik.
كما قال دكتور هارون أبو بكر عن التربية والتعليم العربي في شمال نيجيريا أن للأدب العربي تأثيرا كبيرا لمجتمع نيجيريا، وهم يتعلمون عن اللغة العربية وعن التعليم الإسلامية منذ زمن الطفولة، لأنهم المجتمع تأثروا بالأدب العربي منذ دخول الإسلام إلى بلاده. ثم من الأستاذ محمد توفيق أن صوته غير لم أسمع جيدا، لكن سمعنا أنه قال أن العقيدة والسياسة لهما علاقة كبيرة، وأيضا أن نهضة العلماء اهتمت بهما اهتم بهما جيدا. ثم أنه قال أن هناك ممكن أن نستخدم الفكرة الوسطية في حل بعض المشكلة، لأن العقيدة الإسلامية لها علاقة المهمة بالسياسة، إذن علينا ألا نفرق في أمرهما. شكرا.
You directly close the program, please. Sister Uswah, could you close the program, please?
الحمد لله انتهينا من المراحل، انتهينا من سلسلة البرامج في هذا المساء المبارك إن شاء الله. شكرا جزيلا على جميع المستمعات، على جميع المستمعين، على جميع المتقدمين الباحثين. نلتقي في اللقاء الآتي إن شاء الله. نختتم برامجنا في هذا المساء بقراءة الحمدلله. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Syukran jazilan. Barakallah. Asmadakumullah. Masa'akum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for the all audience and presenters. See you tomorrow.
See you. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Ustadzah, makasih.
Makasih banyak.
Ustadzah Uswa juga makasih. Pak Taufik, hati-hati perjalanannya dari Jakarta, Pak. Safe drive.
Ya, terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih.